first half. You know, we had 324 yards on offense. They had 528. We had 195 passing. They had 321. We had 129 rushing. They had 207. Our time of possession was 31 minutes and 28 seconds. Their time of possession was only 28 minutes and 32. Chris was 16 of 25. Montel had 18 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Fitzpatrick had 6 catches for 55 yards. You know, I don't know if any of that tells the tale here. I just, you know, we let up obviously some tremendously big plays, fast-hitting big plays. Certainly, we started that game out as poor as you'd want to, you know, with the ball hitting our gunner control in the leg. And they, you know, got that. You know, we responded back with a touchdown off of a great kickoff return. You know, I thought that, you know, we went in here with trying to get the ball to Jalen a little bit more here. We're trying to do that. We're trying to throw it. We opened up with a little, trying to throw some nakeds and do some things. But they just jumped out at us real quick. You know, the biggest positive on the day, because there's not a lot of positives to me, but the biggest positive was I thought that at halftime we challenged our team to come out and play. Come out and play, okay? You know, nothing went right in that first half, really, but just come out and play. And in all the huddles, the offensive huddle, the defensive huddle, the special teams huddle, the guys were bright-eyed and competing. And there was a part of me that really felt that, you know, I said to myself, you know, we'll go back out in the second half and we'll really get going. And we did. And almost gave ourselves a chance to pop in that game at that one point. We had that critical holding penalty where we had an explosive play with Chris, and that kind of buried it for us right there. We got buried right there. You know, we've got to play better. We can't let up these big plays that we're letting up, and we've got to go back and really clearly look at why that is and address that. You know, other things that happened today, obviously Juice got a chance to go out there and play a little bit, which I wanted to give him the chance to do. He did that. You know, and I thought Chris responded well today. Made some really good plays in that football game. We just have to execute better. We have to play better. You know, on all phases. You know, the muffed punt return. I mean, Matt Brown went out and gave a poison call, which means everybody get away from the ball. But sometimes in the heat of that thing, you can't hear. You know, guys running down, and that's one of those plays that, you know, every once in a while happens that, you know, it's just that's a little bit of bad fortune right there. To be honest with you, okay? Because the mechanics were in place and it was handled right by the kids, and we just didn't hear that communication, which sometimes happens in the heat of it. Got a bad bounce on that thing. But the kickoff return was executed pretty well. I thought we did a good job with kickoff return, and you know, so I thought there was some things in there, but they just too many explosive plays. I don't have the number in front of me. The stats won't tell me that right now. How many explosive plays we had against us? But I'm entirely too many. You know, I feel like had we been able to limit it even just a little, you know, I think it wouldn't have been so insurmountable to come back on. But we couldn't limit that. Even when we did just for a little while, you saw at the end there, bam, again, big play. So that's where we're at. Questions?
Steve, how did that ball taken away from Dion? You've gotten back to within 17. He had some momentum.
Right.
And he just
but that was the play after the penalty when we had the explosive play, which is the play I'm telling you broke our back. Okay? Because that was the play right there where we were going to be roughly around midfield. And I felt like we had some pretty damn good juice and energy going right there. Now what would happen? Who knows? I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. But, I mean, at least from our end, we're fighting. We're competing. We're rolling. And then we get the penalty. We come back. We throw the keeper pass out there, and the ball just gets taken away from him. I mean, you know.
Was that disappointing because he's a senior receiver and he's a guy you want to make plays?
It's just disappointing, John, period. You know, when you have a ball and a guy can reach in and just take the ball, that's just disappointing. You know what I mean? It's, you know, you'd like to say, well, was the ball out loose? No. I just went in and literally ripped the ball away. You know, I would say, the only thing I have to say about anything with all that stuff is always this. Your senior, when you have a young football team, your few seniors that you have to play their best. Your upperclassmen have to play their best. And we'll have to watch the tape to see what the tail of that is. We threw the ball downfield a few times. I mean, there are balls up in the air. We got to make a play out. Thought we did a good job trying to move the ball around a little bit. I really did. And I thought Montel made some good plays for us in the run game. But we just couldn't seem to, get enough of a rhythm, and that's critically important.
See, did you bench Matt Brown?
No. I took Matt Brown out because he tweaked his ankle again. And, he wanted to go back in on a kickoff return, and I just wouldn't let him do it, He was upset, and I told Matt Brown, I said, it's my job to take care of you, and I'm not just going to do that. I mean, I just felt like I was putting him in harm's way if I put him back in there, and that's my decision, and I just had to make that decision. So I just did that for his well-being, for his ankle. He's been struggling for however many weeks right now with this thing, and it's just minimally better. And I felt after he tweaked it, and I watched him, I thought he was limping a little bit, and he didn't have that same burst. And I just said to myself, this kid's not firing at the same level, and if I got to get him out. Sometimes the coach got to come in here and say, that's it, you're out. It is what it is.
Did Sean come back in? Sean,
no. I have no idea. Zero. Couldn't even comment on it. I haven't had a chance to even talk to the doc.
So you moved Kyle back over there?
Yeah, Kyle was playing center again.
Okay.
Jamin Newman went in at guard. And, that's what happened. That's what happened. Listen, the biggest disappointing thing to me is just really the fact that we went in at halftime at the score that we went in at. That's a shame. I really think that had that not been the case, we would have been in the middle of a really tough football game. But sometimes with our team right now, with the youth and the lack of leadership on our team right now, it just seems that it's these waves, can put you down a little too long, and we just have to do a better job. And I hate to keep sounding like a broken record, but I just think we have to keep, as a team, we got to keep fighting, we got to keep growing, we got to keep developing. There's going to be these disappointments, like some games are disappointing because they're so close and you come out short. Then there's some games like this. It's very disappointing, and for everybody. But that doesn't take away the fact of the positive things that you see and where we're headed. It doesn't take that away, although it's frustrating. And we just got to do a great job of keep chipping away at the rock and pounding at the rock and building it the right way and developing great leadership. And that's what this is. Sometimes trying times are what bring that leather and that toughness to your program. So we're in the middle of that right now.
When you were talking about explosive plays, are you talking about in the passing game? I mean, the last 2 weeks you guys gave up 7 touchdown passes.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about both, but yeah. I mean, we let up some screen passes for big chunks of yards here now. Big chunks. And, we've got to get that corrected. It's got to get corrected. I mean, our starting point in our football program, everyone's got a different way of how they handle the program in terms of what their plan to win is, if you will. Ours starts with defense. Got to play great defense. Got to build around the football. Got to build a score in the red zone. Can't turn the ball over. And the special teams got to make plays. Special teams gave one away, got one back. Right? We ran the ball, not enough today. We threw it a little bit more than we would throw it. Had we probably honed in and ran it a little bit more, but because of what happened in the dynamics of the game, we probably could have had a 200-yard day, but we didn't. And we were slow starting, and coupled with the fact that in the second half, and we started throwing the ball much more because we're going to go after that win. Okay, but we opened the game up, trying to have more play action, more balance, things like that, and that didn't work out so good in the first quarter. Didn't work out for a host of reasons in the first quarter. So, what else?
Where do you? Okay, in regards to being bowl eligible, you guys are struggling in the pass defense. You're going up against Cincinnati, Louisville, and Syracuse, who really like to throw the ball.
Right.
Right. And I know there's a chance you may play Hawaii, but do you think this game, even if you play Hawaii, this loss could prevent y'all from playing in the bowl?
Keith, I don't really look that far ahead. I've talked about this. I mean, I think where we are as a team right now is we have to look directly into the next week, and we just have to play as hard as we can. And I'm not real. Our goal was to win the opener and get bowl eligible. That goal's still available for us. But really, what's in front of us now that's a lot of rhetoric for me. It's all about now just focus on winning a game next week. That's it. We're playing an awfully good football team. We all know that. You know, they got a quarterback that throws for big yards. I clearly understand what we've done well and what we haven't done well, and what they do well, and what, you know. So I get all that. So like for me, my focus is all about next Saturday at Louisville, and it's all about playing a major college football game and finding a way for our team to overcome whatever issues we are having and find a way to go win a big time game. And I just want our kids to do that. I want our coaches to do that, because that's what it is. When you start doing that stuff, which is what you guys need to do, but for us, when you start doing that, you're worrying about the wrong things. You know, if you take care of your business, those things take care of themselves. You don't take care of your business, it's all nothing but conversation. You know, this game was a critical game for us because we went to 3-4 as opposed to 4-3 and 3-1 in the Big East. Okay. And so this was one that was very, very important to us. We did not get it, and so it's time to go all about getting the next one.
Steve, did you think you'd be in a situation where it looks, I mean, just from what we can see in the press box, Nate Smith and Tyler Matakevich are the guys that are tackling well and bringing a lot of energy on defense, and some of your older guys who up front you might have wanted to play better aren't playing as well. Did you think it would be kind of the reverse of that, or did you just not know what you were going to get going into the season with that stuff?
Well, I mean, I think it's a great, we knew out of spring ball that Nate Smith was going to be a playmaker for us. We had a feeling Tyler would be. He's popped and has become that. And, we're really low in numbers up on the defensive front right now, okay? Probably one of our very biggest concerns. Of course, followed by the offensive line. I got to find out what happened with Sean Boyle now, okay? But, we are very, very low numbers for a host of reasons, okay? And that's disappointing. We're playing without, one of our very top inside defensive linemen. And but that's where it is. And we've got to overcome it. We've got a couple of young guys that I really like a lot. And I think we saw him, Shabazz Ahmed, you saw him in there. You saw Matt Ioannidis in there. And I thought you saw that. And I think those guys are our future. And they're young guys. And we got a couple other guys that'll be en route, and we got to develop those guys. We lost some real playmakers a year ago. One of them was here today, Adrian Robinson, a guy that when the tough times hit, he found a way to get in there and make sacks, and that's why he's playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. And more Keith Brown, a real tough competitor, and other guys have a chance to either have to step up and be focused about all the right things, or the train keeps moving, and that's where that is. So we got a bunch of young guys that I really feel terrific about, and I'm, if we have to suffer along the way with that, so be it. So be it. I'm okay with that. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. We got to get some more numbers in here, more numbers of guys in that mix. It all starts up front, both sides of the ball. It all starts up front. Okay. And those are two areas for us that we're in some of the greatest development right now, is in those areas.
You mentioned the explosive plays. What was Sunseri able to do today that allowed them to have such an efficient day? I think he only missed 8 passes. Just what was he able to do today?
Well, we had some breakdowns today. We had some man coverage breakdowns. We have some things going on where someone has the back man, and that didn't happen. We didn't cover him. And obviously in those screens, in man coverage, someone's assigned to the back. We're on the back. And so that's a breakdown. It's just we call it mental error. It's just a mental error. Unfortunately, it happened a few times. And we play man coverage a lot because we're trying to load the box to stop the run. And so when you have guys have assignments, those man coverage things have to happen. And that's our job as coaches, and making sure we're in a situation where we can have guys in position that they can do the things that we're trying to do. So he was, I thought going in he was a heck of a player. He's a veteran senior guy, and he was able to make plays, and we had some breakdowns in there that helped him, but he still made the plays. And he looks like a cool guy out back there in terms of, a very steady, very seasoned guy who's in his last year. And he's getting better each week. And I was impressed with him going in. I think Keith and I had talked about that. And I'm impressed with him going away. You know, he's just one of those guys. He's paid his dues. He's tough. He's been through it all. He's taken it all, and he played well today.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.